Today, we're going deep on the life and work of Erwin Schrödinger. You know, he's that guy, the Schrödinger's cat guy. But he's kind of famous for his personal life as much as for quantum mechanics.
Yeah, definitely more to him than just the cat in the box. We'll be looking at how all that personal stuff intertwined with his science. Like, how did it affect his work? And what kind of legacy did he leave behind? Both the physics stuff and the other stuff.
Okay, so, Erwin Schrödinger, born in Vienna, 1887. Not just some lone genius, right? His family was a big deal. Dad was a botanist. Mom's side, all academic. And he grew up speaking English and German, both.
And get this, he ends up an atheist. But you can kind of see how all that, the science, the culture, even the religion, it all stuck with him. You know, it influenced his thinking.
So he goes to the University of Vienna, and it's like physics, rockstar university, right? Franz Exner, Friedrich Hausner, all those guys are his teachers.
Yeah.
And he's not just sitting in lectures. He's doing experiments with, like, Fritz Kohlrausch. Seriously, the Kohlrausch.
Hands-on experience, super important. That's what makes him different. He's not just theorizing. He's in the lab, getting his hands dirty with actual physics.
Then bam, World War I. He's got to go be an officer. Do you think maybe that messed with his head a little? You know, like, war is chaos, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that pushed him towards quantum mechanics later on, all that uncertainty, unpredictability.
Could be. I mean, war makes you think about the big questions, for sure. Maybe it nudged him towards the whole probabilistic reality thing. Who knows?
War ends, he's back to physics, moves around a lot, different universities, Stuttgart, Breslau, Zurich. It's like he's climbing the physics ladder.
And in Zurich, that's where he really gets into quantum mechanics, starts digging into the stuff that'll make him famous.
And then 1926, boom, his big paper drops. Quantisierung als Eigenwertproblem. That's where the Schrödinger equation comes in.
And that equation, it's more than just math. It changed how we understand, well, everything, like the tiniest stuff in the universe. Before Schrödinger, quantum mechanics was all over the place. His equation, it made it make sense. It gave us the wave function. That's the math that describes what a quantum system is doing.
Okay, so for those of us who didn't ace quantum physics, what's the wave function? Like ELI 5, please.
Imagine, like, a guitar string. You pluck it, it vibrates, right? That's a wave. Now imagine the string is an electron. The wave, that's the electron state, its energy, where it is, all that. Schrödinger's equation, that's what lets us figure out the wave function for anything, any electron, any quantum thing.
So it's like electrons are fuzzy clouds, but the equation gives them a solid form. In math, anyway.
Exactly. But here's the mind-blowing part. The wave function, it doesn't say the electron is here. It says the electron might t be here or here or here. It's all probabilities, you see. That's superposition. The electron is in all those states at the same time until we look at it.
Which brings us to the cat. Schrödinger's cat. It's just a thought experiment, right? Not like a real cat in a box.
No real cats were harmed. It was Schrödinger's way of, like, working through the weirdness of superposition. He's got this cat in a box with maybe poison gas. We don't know if the gas is released or not. So until we open the box, the cat is both alive and dead. Superposition, again.
It's a pretty wild idea, but to get the point across, quantum mechanics is strange. But he didn't stop there. He comes up with wave mechanics, this whole new math framework to describe how these tiny particles act.
A whole new set of tools to explore the quantum world. And this work, it's huge. He gets the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1933, shares it with Paul Dirac.
But 1933, that's also when things go bad in Germany, right? Nazis are on the rise, and Schrödinger, he can't deal with that. He leaves his fancy job in Berlin.
Tough choice. But it shows he had principles, couldn't compromise, not even for his career. That takes guts, you know? Walking away from everything because you believe in something bigger. Yeah, he's figuring out the universe, but his own life is kind of a mess. So, what happens next?
Well, he ends up at Magdalen College, Oxford, for a bit. Sounds great, right? Famous university, lots of smart people, but it doesn't last.
It was the personal stuff, right? His relationships. Oxford in the 30s. Not exactly open-minded.
It's kind of crazy, right? Here's this genius changing how we see the universe.
Well,
and people are judging him for who he's dating. Makes you think, how we judge people, especially from the past. Do we focus on their work or their personal life? It's complicated.
yeah, definitely something to think about. But back to Schrödinger. Oxford doesn't work out. He almost goes to Princeton, but changes his mind. What happened there? Same problem, basically. America in the 30s, not much better than Oxford. He'd run into the same issues, people judging his lifestyle. Shows you, even in academia, social pressure is a big deal.
So this Nobel Prize winner can't find a place to work because of his personal life. Kind of sad, really. Where does he end up?
Ireland. Of all places, Eamon de Valera, the Irish leader, he wants to start an institute for advanced studies in Dublin, and he invites Schrödinger to join.
Kind of poetic, huh? He's run out of two countries and finds a home in Ireland, a place known for, like, big thinkers and being welcoming.
And he loves it there. 17 years he spends in Dublin, leading their school for theoretical physics. Writes tons of stuff, not just quantum mechanics, unified field theory, how we see colors, even philosophy.
This guy never stopped thinking, huh? Not just happy with his Nobel Prize, had to keep pushing, keep exploring.
And in Dublin, he writes this book, What is Life? In 1944. It's not just physics anymore, it's biology, too. He's trying to explain, like, how physics makes life possible.
Okay, this is where I get interested. Physics and biology, they seem so different. How did he connect them?
Well, he had this idea that our genes, our DNA, it's like a code. And that code, it uses the laws of physics to create life. He didn't know about DNA structure yet, but he was close.
So he's predicting DNA before anyone knew what it was.
Pretty much. And his book, it inspired a bunch of biologists, including James Watson, the guy who helped discover DNA structure. He said Schrödinger's book was a huge influence.
Amazing. The physicist who influenced biology. Shows you, sometimes the best ideas come from looking at things in a new way.
Yeah, knowledge is all connected, right? But we're not done with Schrödinger yet. He goes back to Vienna, and there's still the whole personal life thing to unpack.
So we've seen Schrödinger do it all right. Quantum mechanics, Nobel Prize, escaping the Nazis, even inspiring biologists. Last we left off, he was back in Vienna, his hometown. After all that, what's he up to in these later years?
Well, in 55, he retires from Dublin, goes back to the University of Vienna, gets this fancy title, Professor ad personam. Like, they created a position just for him. Guess he wanted to go back to where it all began.
Makes sense. Vienna was home, right? Where he first got into science. So he's back in Vienna, famous scientist, Nobel Prize winner. What's he working on now?
He's still thinking about science, but it's more like big picture stuff. He writes this book, My View of the World.
Yeah.
All about philosophy, his own ideas. He was always into Eastern religions like Vedanta. You can see that influence in his writing.
It's like he spent his life figuring out the universe. And now he's trying to figure out how HE fits into it all.
Yeah, quantum mechanics already messed with our idea of reality, right? Now he's thinking about even bigger stuff. Consciousness, existence, how everything's connected.
He died in Vienna in 61.
Yeah.
But his work, it's still shaping how we understand the world today.
His legacy, it's kind of complicated. He was brilliant, no doubt.
Yeah.
The Schrödinger equation, that's basic physics now. And his ideas about life, they help start a whole new field of biology.
But then there's the personal stuff. All those relationships, the controversies. It's not easy to just ignore that.
It reminds us that even geniuses, they're still people, right?